It's that time of the week for the nerds and the geeks. WYBNOO. What you been nerding out on? It's been a week, 7 days, and we got much to say. So take it away, no further delay.
Hello, my name is Jacob Jones, and welcome to What You've Been Nerding Out On, or WYBNOO. Today I'm joined by Borzen, the one and only. Probably hear his name said out loud sometimes by the kind of funny folks, I feel like. Who has been nerding out on crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Some crazy heady shit. I'm not going to spoil it this time, although you clicked on the video and saw the title. But let's get right into Borzen's introduction. Who are you? Where do you come from? And what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a lot about software art development, engineering, whatever you want to call it. I pretty much ever since I was 6, I knew I wanted to work for Nintendo. Did the art side of it. I suck at art. I can't draw worth shit.
Same.
Yeah. So I decided, I'll just code. And it turns out after a bunch of stuff, I don't do games, but I do a lot of other software development stuff. I do some game development here and there. My graphics knowledge is a little out of date now. But pretty much I code in free time, code for a living, code for the other day, there's a puzzle in a game that was really annoying, and I literally just spent 2 hours coding a solution for it.
Nice.
Because, a lot of permutations I had to figure out, and I was like, I just don't want to figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll
it sounds.
let the computer do it for me.
Well, I mean, that's like what, automation, some AI stuff, or like running like an algorithm or something like that.
So what it is at the end of the day, software development is you telling the computer what you want it to do, while having a set of parameters. So I'm going to start actually a little bit further back and define some terms.
Sure.
I'm going to use a lot because software development is very misunderstood on the internet. You can see again arguments on what used to be called Twitter, and and I don't anymore because I'm on Blue Sky now. But is not really fully understood. So we're going to step back. So software development, at least in the modern usage of it, I'm not going to be talking about like Big Blue or anything like that. I'm going to be talking about modern stuff, which is like Rust, .NET, Java, JavaScript. So that's more what I do mostly. B, software development is the fusion of logic and math. So if physics is the application of math to the real world, and engineering is the application of physics with business sense, software engineering is the application of computer science.
Got it.
And computer science is the application of math and logic. I think that's the best way to describe it. So,
okay,
it's very broad, as you can tell.
Right.
So so I think defining that is gonna help a lot, because understanding how we get to the spot where we now have Chat GPT and everything else, which it's been great. It's been great being a software developer and having AI, because we were promised things and we have not been given what we were promised, and it's annoying. We were promised a lot of stuff, but I'll get that later. But it mostly is this whole idea of that. So let's start small. So let's just take, for example, whenever I run into a problem, say we're going to talk about blueprints, because that's one of the games I've had to do this for. there's a puzzle in that game where you are given a bunch of pictures, and you gotta label each picture.
Right.
And you're given a list of characters, and a character is just a single letter or a number. It's we call them strings.
Okay.
And in software development, string is like a sentence or
Mm-hmm.
more than one character, and a character is just a single part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
strings are usually like words, and it's usually in quotations, typically, right? As it's written.
And you can quote it with any sort of quote depending on the language.
Yeah.
Like JavaScript, for example, there's 3 different ways to populate strings.
Nice.
And it's not annoying whatsoever when you see something online and you're like, hey, why is this set up 3 different ways
You're
in like 3 different lines? And you're like, and then you go, oh, I'll never do that. And then you look at your code 6 months later and you've done that like 3 times already. But no,
that's hilarious.
So I saw this and immediately I went, oh, I could solve this by coding it. Because I'm not great with word puzzles.
Okay.
I don't play Wordle every day. Barely played it at all when it was popular. I don't do the New York Times. I'm a Sudoku guy. I like numbers.
All number based. Nice.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, we know how long each of these are. So I knew how to populate it and go do it. Now, there's problems I ran into during that, but I coded that out, and it took me 3 hours versus the 2.5 that it probably took solve the puzzle. But you know what?
But you had fun with it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I do not see coding as like fully a job thing. It is a creative outlet for me.
Right.
It is. It really actually, the person who explained that to me really changed my whole idea on how to be creative in coding.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's I mean, it's not even really like this, but it's kind of like how I use spreadsheets at work all day, right? I'm in finance.
Who doesn't?
And formulas, yeah, and all that bullshit. But then, like, I use it in my personal life just to keep things organized. You know, I'm not getting paid to make those spreadsheets, but they're more for my enjoyment, just to be like, oh, look at all these Gundam shows I've checked off on my list, all these green boxes. You know what I mean?
Or
personal pleasure spreadsheet.
I had given this out to a few people. I wrote a whole entire Google Sheet doc that is for blueprints for very specific puzzles I will not spoil in the game.
Yeah, don't spoil it. I'm not that far. But
if you
20,
know,
22. Yeah. But I will like to see those later, you know, as they progress.
For reasons.
Yeah. Like if I'm like tearing my hair out and be like, Borzen, tell me this is one of the ones that you made a software for.
There is so many.
Awesome.
I've never had a game require me write that much. But yeah, no. So now that we understand it's creative,
right?
It's that. Let's then talk about why I love doing part of this is because I like figuring out puzzles.
Yeah, same.
I'm the kind of person who can sit down and solve an entire puzzle like just by sitting there doing it in an afternoon.
Yeah. Like you mean like a puzzle, like the picture?
Yeah, like a jigsaw. Yeah, jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, it's like meditative, right?
Yeah, and that is how I describe programming as creative.
Nice.
It is. And why it's not, if somebody hits me up and goes, hey, I need you to migrate from .NET 8 to .NET 10 on this project. That's not a creative process. That is very much you follow step-by-step instructions on.
There's a syntax to that.
From Microsoft, yeah. Where if somebody goes, hey, I'm building a website. And the idea behind this web application is we are going to make it so when the user clicks on the box, it will randomly generate a color that is forever matched to their profile.
Nice.
And this color, and I'm going to steal this from Alberta Tech, is related to their flavor of sparkling of seltzer, of seltzer.
Okay.
Seltzer like.
Nice. I'm more of a beer guy, but the seltzers are pretty tasty.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot more seltzers.
I used to be a beer guy.
Yeah.
I need to lose weight, so I'm a seltzer guy now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I need to switch to just like, on the rocks, like, or like whiskey water. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I need to lose some weight too, buddy. I'll tell you what.
But so say we have this application.
Okay.
There's no step-by-step tutorial on MSDN.
Right.
Stack Overflow. There's nothing like that out there.
It's a puzzle.
And yeah, so it's a puzzle. You gotta solve it.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes down to even like how you display, like how you are going to store this data for this user profiles. How you can go, hey, how are we going to host and display this website?
Mm-hmm.
And there's multiple different options there, even.
Right.
That makes it fun. So in modern software development, you might hear the cloud a lot.
Oh, God, yeah.
And the cloud, and AWS, and GCP, and Azure.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's Microsoft.
All these things. Oh, yeah, that's Microsoft.
That's a big boy.
It's an expensive boy, too.
Oh, yeah. No shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, like, personally, I host everything in AWS just because it's so cheap.
Nice.
I hate giving Amazon money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you're looking for hosting and you don't have somebody go talk to you one time, go, hey, you should figure out how to host in AWS and just learn how to do it and make this entirely complex hosting structure.
Mm-hmm. Just
go host on DigitalOcean. It's $5 a month. That just go do it. Don't listen to what I'm about to say now. Don't run. You don't want none of this shit, Rick Dewey Cox.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. Holy. Yeah. So for like hosting, some of the puzzle side of it is here's cloud, and it's called, I forget, horizontal or vertical scaling. One of them is you just buy a bigger computer, but the way the cloud works is you just buy more computers.
Because you just need to have more like computers that can
stream. You just need access points.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why every day one of a game launch,
it crashes.
It crashes because they don't want to spend $3 billion on computers.
Right. Because they want it to crash and then find the sweet spot of like where, how much money do we need to spend to get this working instead of overspending on the onset in case they don't make enough money, especially in sales like right away, right? I mean, makes sense.
And let me tell you too, we're going to get even more interesting here in a bit too on the hosting side. So we're just going to start with this color that matches to a seltzer you like profile.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say White Claw. What do they got? They got like grapefruit.
They're silver. Yeah.
I think they got a grapefruit flavor. I'd drink it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to probably be metallic. You'll probably be like, if it's a grapefruit, it'd probably be like a metallic pink.
Nice.
So we write this application.
That's hot.
And it's going to be pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to figure out what language we're going to use. I'm going to be real. The way I'm going to write it is with the .NET C# backend and a JavaScript front end. That is what I do every day for work. That's what I have been doing for the past 11 years at this point.
Yeah, and Java is
easy.
That's like that's like an internet like website language basically. It's always been
JavaScript.
That.
So JavaScript until Reindahl cursed the world with Node.js was always a client. So you'll hear me say client side, and client is whatever you are interacting with, not the server that's hosting all this data. It's what you are interacting with. So it has always been a client side language. And then Google created this little program called Chrome. Don't know if you heard of it.
I have it. It's over here. It's right here.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah, no. So they have this thing called inside of it called V8, and that is what compiles the JavaScript code or ECMAScript if you want to be super technical and fun.
ECMAScript?
ESCMA. I think that's it. Let me go.
Saying eczema.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like that's the
there it is.
Who define ECMAS. Yes. Hey, I pay attention to that. So JavaScript
let's take that
is version 1.0. And ESCMA is basically the newer version. Like it's JavaScript. It's still JavaScript, but is what is defining it. It's kind of like you can have a M.2 slot on a computer.
Yeah.
But it can host an SSD drive or an NVMe drive.
Okay.
They're both the same format. They're both JavaScript at the end of the day.
Right. It's just another name.
One just has newer features. It's just a little different.
It's a little different, yeah. It's like with OBS, and then how those losers stole OBS and made Streamlabs OBS, which is a different version of an overall worse version of the same shit.
And that happens all the time in open source software.
Yeah, that's I make sure to let everyone know. Do not use Streamlabs. They're just charging for free software. Please. What are you doing?
Like, this is my virtual camera through OBS. Like,
yeah, same.
I have
literally
like OBS.
That means you could put a GIF in front of you or something right now if you wanted to.
Oh yeah. Or I could go to any of my old stream layouts that I haven't used in a year and a half. No, so it also, side tangent. I'm being very ADHD right now.
Hey, we're having fun. We're just talking, bro. We're nerding out.
So so say with OBS, a game you're playing, let's just say Destiny 2, changes how it captures from OBS, and they change it from
so annoying
the like game capture, window capture. I forget which one it was. And now you have to do display capture.
Yeah. Oh, that's happened before.
And display capture now puts that stupid border around your screen.
Yeah. Lame.
So you can, if you learn software development and somehow know the C++ and C and the Microsoft API well enough, which I barely do, you can attempt to remove that border around the screen because it's just an optional pass-through.
Right.
Setting. Yeah, that was a fun waste of 3 weeks.
I mean, I would just use display capture and then just crop it. That's my practical producer brain.
That wasn't the problem. Yeah, no, what's the problem? It was displaying in OBS. It was the fact I had to look at it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to look. It
was all up here.
Oh yeah.
But let's just talk about puzzles for a second, right? You're also a puzzle master. You're super into puzzles. It's like once that cog starts turning in your brain. You're like, I must solve this shit. I need to figure this out. I am the exact same way. And then when I can't think about it, I'm like, I have to put it aside. I'm thinking about it in my dreams. I'm thinking about it at work. And then I'm coming home and I'm like, all right, it's time to tackle this puzzle again because I'm going to go insane. I'm the same way.
No, so I had, this is pre a lot of bad stuff happened there, but I had a job interview at Punchy where they sent me the code and you have to do code tests.
Okay. Yeah.
This is way more popular in the games industry than it is, by the way, in like the rest of the software industry.
That's interesting.
You still have technical interviews, but the take-home test usually is much more prevalent in the games industry from the amount of times I've had to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I literally got so wrapped up in it, I had to take a day off of work.
Oh man.
Because I couldn't stop thinking about it. Because I was more flow stated into that than I was by actual what was paying me money at that moment in time.
Yeah, I can picture the TikTok of you like, you know, like calling into work and then just Bach playing in the background, like you're just descending into madness.
So when I got that test, I got it on a Friday, and I literally slept, I think, 10 hours total that weekend.
Jeez.
And I usually have dinner with my parents one night on the weekend when they're free, because we live close enough.
Nice.
I texted them. I said, I can't do this. I want to make sure I get this done this weekend.
There's always next weekend.
Yeah, well, it's not like we live 30 minutes away. So
yeah.
But no, so my mom goes, oh, we'll just bring dinner over to you and you could just eat it. And they showed up and I was still in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Because I just had not, like, I only had breakfast. I did not leave because you get in that flow state.
Yeah.
And you just are like, okay, I'm solving this problem. I can move on to this problem. I'm getting frustrated at this problem, so I'm going to ignore it. That's the problem for a future person. And that's literally what you're doing. Like, I didn't plan on spending 3 hours on that blueprints thing, but I spent so long trying to find a free available dictionary API that I could just download all.
Like every word.
At least.
I mean, gosh, it's like, hey, Merriam-Webster.com, can you like, you know, just send me like
I have one.
An index, please. Like, fuck. Oh, that's so funny, dude.
Like, you apply to it. It's not like, oh, it's free.
Yeah.
To get, like, I think it's free for so many. Don't quote me 100% on it, but like, you get so many requests per day.
Yeah.
And then then you have to apply if you want larger requests.
Oh man.
And then once you apply, you then are able, you're given the privilege to give them money.
Oh, great. And now you can pay if you so choose to continue.
Welcome to software API access in a nutshell.
Oh man,
where,
the gating, the money gating, baby.
Oh, it's you send them an email and describe what your software does.
Oh, hey, they have to vet. They have to vet you.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to somehow like you use this for like the Russian government, like somehow evil. Like, what's an evil dictionary like act that you could be doing with? You know what I mean? Like, what would they deny? Is my question.
You can probably DDoS somebody pretty good if they have a search, and you can paralyze it enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just my
roommate was a security expert in college, and totally didn't infect me sometimes with going, hey, you know, you can use this totally mundane thing and make it malicious somehow. I'm like, great. That'll keep me up at night forever.
Yeah. You have the power of darkness, but never turn to the dark side, Borzen.
Oh, no. The only viruses I wrote were for him specifically.
Okay. That's fair. As long as they don't spread out to the public, you got to keep that quarantine.
No, like they were always. And then also, when I worked for a help desk, you got the unlocked virus every now and then, and yeah, when you figure out how to like, this is gonna age me a bit, but open the disk drive.
Hey, 39 this year.
Oh yeah, not too far off.
Probably just a few years off, right? You know.
Yeah.
You remember going to Independence Day in theater when you were a kid, right? You're that kind of age, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like I could, like I could tell.
I remember that shit.
Exactly when I first. Yeah, I could tell exactly when I first heard about LimeWire and Kazaa.
Oh yeah. No, I was in high school. Fucking dude, I believe that was sophomore year. So it's like 2001. Yeah, and I was 2002?
I'm a little sooner.
Something like that.
I was like junior high.
Yeah. Oh.
And
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh then, yeah. Crazy time. I was like downloading like Zelda remix.mp3 and shit.
I had one of the first iPods too.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It was full.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was. There's fucking all sorts of crazy songs.
I discovered a public library has CDs.
Yeah. They still do.
Oh, yeah. Mine still does too. But like, yeah. And you could just go rip CDs from the library.
Easy peasy.
And return them. And me and my brother figured that out, and that's why I have, to this day, a 1 terabyte iTunes library.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember also, like, my brother used to rip music CDs onto his Xbox. Like, I think it was the 360, if I'm not mistaken. And so he'd just, like, have all the craziest death metal albums all over his Xbox, like, unlabeled track one and shit, you know? So funny.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
software, right?
Yeah, again.
Jeez.
Yeah, again. But, again, back to software. I would open people's CD drives randomly.
Yeah.
And also dynamically change their background at random intervals.
I was going to ask about the wallpapers. That's a fun virus.
Because I didn't know how to write a service. By the way, services are easy, people. If you have trouble, hit me up. I gladly talk you through it. But I did it at that time. So I just wrote a console application that inside Windows, there's a thing called Task Scheduler, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you can just tell it to do basically anything.
Start defragging at like noon.
Oh, you could do it. You could just tell it to run any program in the world.
Oh, shit.
Silently.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
I was very quickly reprimanded and
I'm
told that we could continue with the unlock virus. They just can't hide that well.
They have to be able to scoop those up because it can get kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, like
nice.
Again, yeah, that wasn't. Like I said, all those X's weren't stored on a flash drive that I just carried around in my pocket for the job and given to every other employee at the place.
There you go.
Totally wasn't. But yeah, no. So yeah, and then so now let's say we take this seltzer idea. And say we want to serve it to, before we were hosting, we could only serve it to maybe 35 people at a time. But we hit it off big, and we want to do this cheap because we only get paid pennies by AdSense. And so we have to do this on cheaply as humanly possible. And buying more servers is not an option.
Okay.
So what do you do? So this is where the modern software development landscape currently sits. Interesting. Do you know, I'm going to explain what a virtual machine is in the basic terms as possible for anybody who doesn't know, that's listening or anything. So say you have a computer What if we told that computer that it can also be a computer?
Okay.
That's what a VM is basically in a nutshell. We trick a computer into thinking it's multiple computers.
I see.
So that's it in a nutshell. So that's a VM.
Huh.
But VM's huge. Like, because that includes, like, say you host in Windows. Windows is huge. It's like 30 gigabytes.
Yeah.
You don't want it, and even heck, even like some decent sized Linux installs are still like a few, like close to a gig. That's huge. That storage costs money. All this costs money at the end of the day. What if we made the software think it's a computer? This is what's called containerization. And it is how I'm fairly confident in saying Halo Infinite handles its multiplayer servers with.
Oh.
I know this is how Twitter works. I know this is how Google works. I know this is how everybody, like, somewhat big hosts this way now.
So it's like Inception, but it's computers.
Yeah.
And not dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. So
so how does a computer process that many computers inside of it when it's only one computer? Isn't it going to eat up a lot of the physical, or like all the physical resources?
Because because we're only telling it to use what it needs. It doesn't need the whole operating system.
Got it.
So this is where it gets a little bit above even my head, because I've only taken a basic operating systems course and wrote very basic operating system at end of day. So what it's doing is we are only saying, hey, only install what you need for just this. So going back to this Seltzer page, we're going to need the web page. And as we said, that's already done with JavaScript. So we have a JavaScript container.
Okay.
That's just hosting the front end. We need a API for that front end to talk to.
Right.
We already decided that's C#.net. So we have now a .NET container.
Okay.
And that's only running .NET. That's running nothing. That's running a little bit more, but think of it as nothing else. It's only running just that code.
Okay.
So now we need a database, because now our database is not on the same computer anymore.
Right, because there's everything's a computer, so it has to be its own computer, right?
Yeah, everything's a computer.
Basically.
Yeah. And so we now have a database container.
Right.
And the advantages of containers are they are not persistent, which means everything that exists on that container is deleted once you shut it off.
Right.
So you're like, but we need to store stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I can now have I could just have the storage attached to a container. I can now have multiple containers and scale those individually. Now I need someplace to display this web page. I can use an Nginx container. And then, since Nginx is a reverse proxy, I can have multiple Nginx containers, and then one primary Nginx container as a load balancer that talks to all these other Nginx containers.
So it's like
to these.
Sharing, like, basically almost like streaming content in, like, from multiple places to sort of like make up everything. Like, it's almost like multiple IPs working together to like display this page in front of you, basically.
Yeah, so think of it more as a ship. So, because you're still hosting this at the end of the day on a single computer. Like,
right.
We could trick the computer to do whatever we want it to do, but at the end of the day, hardware's hardware.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So you can go, hey, we want to make this computer do this. And inside of it, so this computer is a shipping vessel. Think of like the Evergreen thing that was stuck in the Nile.
Yeah.
Think about how many containers could fit on that.
Right. Exactly.
That's usually a small, if you're doing it, like a medium to ish size computer. Where before you could only fit like, it was like basically a miniature yacht. Where you could fit things, but like everything was designed around just that. Now it doesn't matter. You just have this big ass boat that you can just throw whatever you want on it, and so now we have all this headroom.
Right, exactly.
And this is
interesting.
This is how websites are deployed. This is how a little bit how supercomputers work, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, this is not my area of expertise
because it's all like parsed out into
visualization
pieces
of it.
Yeah.
So it's all running, because before computers were, and the way a CPU still is really good at only doing one thing, which is 2 + 2 = 4.
Right.
That's really good at what they're doing. And that was a single core. Now we have...
There's a lot of fucking cores in these things now. They're crazy.
AMD Epic CPUs, where you can have basically 1024, I think it was, threads, which are cores at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
So...
The way, dude, it's so crazy. It's so crazy, like modern video games and all this stuff, and just the way how far computers have come since the 90s. Like it's just insane. Like it just in my lifetime.
The way I like to describe it is I graduated college having a focus in game and graphics and simulation development. So I'm entirely self-taught web.
Yeah.
And because when I graduated, literally every class, we never talked about web hosting. We never talked about asynchronous coding. None of that. I've had to learn all that myself. We were only taught desktop applications at the end of the day, which, again, if you want to get into this, that's 100% the best way to start. I would still to this day create a console application and understanding how to just do basic things is the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
But when I started college, AWS at that time was around $10 a month for the smallest computer. And that when I graduated, it was around 3-ish.
Damn.
It
That's
went
insane.
from a little bit above a penny to less than a fraction of a penny.
That's insane.
At their smallest end. And that's why cloud exploded. And the other reason is because of this whole containerization idea. So Google created something called Kubernetes. I'm not even going to begin to explain how Kubernetes works, because I only believe the people who maintain Kubernetes knows how Kubernetes work. But they do... It takes all these containers and everything and brings them and scales them and handles all this stuff and makes it to a point where it's become so economically cheap to have hosting. Words are fun.
Yeah.
And hard.
Talking.
Yeah, but software development has changed with that. Where before we had these things called monoliths, and they still exist. I still mostly code a monolith. And a monolith means everything is you're deploying a single application, all parts of it at once.
Okay.
And what started becoming and this is going to modern stuff again, is this called microservices. You probably heard this even if you're not a part of software development. You've heard of microservices, or like, I'm trying to think of like 80 other buzzwords that people have heard.
Yeah,
AI.
Microservices I haven't heard, actually.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So basically what it is, you're just cutting the application up into tiny parts.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, because of all this advancement towards this containerization, this whole idea that anything's a computer.
Yeah.
Everything's a computer.
Everything's an Xbox.
Yeah. I'm like 20% sure that's the way Microsoft is honestly doing the Xbox handheld, by the way. Like, because they're like, oh, we stripped out so much of Windows. I'm like, and it only loads in the game, the stuff it needs for the game. I'm like, that's a container.
Oh, shit. That makes sense. Yeah. This is starting to make sense a little bit.
Yeah. Again, everybody on the internet thinks they know software development.
Oh, no, nobody knows shit. Everybody.
No, I do this for a living, and there's things I refuse to comment on, like how LLMs work.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I get the idea of it. I can't tell you anything how to like even begin coding an LLM, even using like a start of GPT, like, or something like that. Like,
the AI shit is even like, it's just on another level of complication.
Oh,
I swear.
It's so much. Like, this is a rabbit hole where you could find things and you could become like absolutely fascinated with. So my favorite thing is that I've discovered I love outside of like software architecture and stuff like that. And this was going to be my master's thesis, was about file systems. I love learning about file systems, how they work at the low end. This sounds absolutely boring to anybody else. Like, I have other software development friends who are like, this is so boring. Why are you so smart about that? I'm like, I don't know. I just like them. Because you just start figuring out how, like, hey, like, I was never good at, like, low-end coding, like, clock schedulers, all, like, that stuff. But hey, I could write a mean file system.
Interesting.
I could get,
like I don't think people appreciate like quote unquote mundane things like that with computers and stuff. They're just like, I don't know, it's a file. What's a file? I don't care. But it's not like it's not complicated or like it's not important to be a good piece, application for sure.
Yeah. Great example of this, the Switch operating system. Switch operating system is the greatest video game operating system ever created. Quote me on this.
Okay.
And
you heard that here, folks. Papa Miyamoto.
Oh, yeah.
You got your flowers from Borzen.
It's designed to run in the smallest footprint possible, but still have all the feature set of a modern console. And I'm talking about Switch One's OS here, because I have some thoughts on the Switch 2 one, and I think they might have killed the golden goose. But the thing everybody wanted from the Switch 1's operating system is themes. And themes were never going to happen because it's used a less than a gig. Like, we come find out it's only 0.8 gig reserved for the operating system and system tasks.
Dang, that's
and
small.
A single CPU core.
Oh, damn.
I think it was a single, like reserved. Like, this thing's tiny and it runs that smoothly, that fast. Like, yeah, the eShop sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, that was a problem. But
yeah,
like,
it's working good on the Switch too.
I mean, when
Good enough.
almost triple your RAM availability.
Yeah. And
Strange
chill.
thing.
Yeah.
And
that's
add
all
more
you
than
need.
one CPU core to
Yeah.
a web browser. Weird things happen.
Yeah. Not weird at all.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. No, and it's so, but everybody's like, it needs themes. Why is there only light and dark? And I'm like, because that's not only is it a return on investment, because again, at the end of the day, everything's about money and software. It's why there's no software unions. A lot of them are libertarians. I'm not.
Oh, I'm glad you're not. But no.
Oh no, furthest from it.
Awesome.
Like, for those who don't know, Gabe Newell, big libertarian.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
lately, Notch has been popping up on the shit list lately, being a fucking asshole.
Again? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notch.
If anybody's questioning why there's just like hardly any software unions, sorry to disappoint you. We all like getting paid money, and some of us like getting paid more ridiculous amounts of money than what we need at the end of the day, and don't want to give that up.
Probably also, probably also maybe a little antisocial. Maybe possibly.
A little, but
don't want to all get in a big group because you're like, ugh.
Oh,
groups.
Well, not like that. Again, software development's the easiest job to remote, and it's not remote because all you see on tech companies do it. I'm also sorry for tech companies ruining everybody's office and productivity workflows. But yeah, no, so it's all about the return on investment.
Yeah.
How much time I put into it, will it give me that amount of money or more back? There's some things that have negative ROI that just make sense. Like a public facing API, if you are one of the larger social media platforms on the planet.
It's got to look
I don't know who I'm referring to. There might be one or two sites that just
one of them
within the past 2 years.
One of them should definitely not exist anymore because it's essentially a hellhole.
Yeah, I think that same site. I also said to everybody I do, this should give you the courage to go into your boss and say, we need to swap to Kubernetes and containerization, because that site didn't go down when it had no engineers to keep the site up.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. But it didn't run well? Hell no. But it did not go down.
Yeah. Yikes.
So it's this whole return on investment idea. And Nintendo just did not see, yes, on your 3DS, which, by the way, is an entirely different ARM architecture than even the Switch one.
I
Switch 2
believe it.
is entirely different. You can't.
Interesting.
It just wasn't designed with those constraints in mind, let alone figuring out how to do it would take too much time. So we just don't do it.
So you don't get themes. Okay. Can you hear me, people?
You don't get themes.
All right, you know what? You play, you turn the game on, and you get the theme. All right, you see the game, you see the art.
The 3 gigs.
The OS just needs to fucking work, okay?
Yeah, honestly, what Sony had, there's I do like the PS5, not from a user interface standpoint, but I feel the PS5 is a little bit more quicker on the up than the PS4 was.
Yeah,
and I like that. I do not know why to this day they decided, we're going to entirely rewrite the PS4 operating system for the PS5 and make some of the worst decisions ever. You now have to hold to go to the home menu instead of just tapping it.
Yeah, I know, and it annoys the shit out of me.
The system's been out almost 5 years now, and
I know.
I still am not used to it.
I never will be. I like this. I like the Xbox OS on the Series X.
Xbox is insane.
It's great. It's incredible.
So
like with quick resume
remember that
is insane. Like still just boggles my mind. I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
so
is that containerization? Are they putting
no
the games in containers, dude?
No, they did it even more insane.
Okay,
so
all right, come on.
This goes back to the Xbox One. So the Xbox Series.
Well, yeah, because
OS,
they had that like sidebar thing that you could run a second thing. You could be playing the game and run an application at the same time.
Well,
right?
yes, whatever's displaying the UI, I don't know what that is. But Microsoft has what runs VMs is called a hypervisor.
Okay.
And they have their own hypervisor called Hyper-V.
Ooh.
It's built into every install of Windows.
Okay.
As long as you have Pro, you can literally go turn on Hyper-V right now in your Windows computer if you have Windows Pro. If you want to start playing with Linux, use Windows Subsystem for Linux. Don't use Hyper-V anymore. But if you want to just start learning some of how to maintain VMs, I supported Hyper-V servers forever.
Nice.
But yeah, so they have that. So they took a stripped down version of that, put in the Xbox, and then put 2 VMs on top of it. One of them's running a system called Xbox OS.
Okay.
I'm going to let you guess what that does.
Yeah. It's the Xbox operating system.
Yeah. And then the other one runs it's called Windows. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's runs a stupid Yeah. Yeah. It runs a stupid stripped down version of Windows.
Nice.
And that's how that works, and it's insane.
That's crazy.
I want to so PlayStation, theirs is based off of FreeBSD, which is a Unix thing.
Okay.
If you want to learn more, Wikipedia's there. It is your friend.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of great people on YouTube who can explain FreeBSD and Unix and the difference between that and Linux than I can.
Got it.
I'm a Debian fanboy. I just install Ubuntu server on things and call it a day.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's that. And then I think Nintendo's is mostly homegrown.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so you have these OSs that do this. Now, I've talked a lot about hardware. We haven't talked about how languages fit into this whole picture of modern software development. And you hear me talk about JavaScript and how JavaScript runs on V8, or I forget what the WebKit one is called and what the Firefox one is called. And how Ryan Dahl cursed us with Node, then sort of blessed us with Dino, and then Bun came around and just made life awesome. These are all Node.js competitors, by the way. If you haven't touched them and you're a software dev listening to this, highly recommend Bun. I've been doing Nux development in Bun for a bit now. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have languages, but say you want the code I compile on my Windows machine, I need it to run on this Linux box.
Yeah.
That's my server. Because I host everything in Linux. Because
it's like Steam OS.
Yeah. Like, why pay for a Windows license key when you don't have to? So the way this works from a language part, and this is where you're going to notice how good computer people are at making up things. They all run inside a thing called a virtual machine.
You don't say.
Not the same thing as what we just described a virtual machine was a while back.
Okay. God damn it.
Yeah, like I said, computer people really good at naming things.
Yeah, just not confusing at all.
Yeah, no, it's like, don't worry, there's only 2 different architectures called x64.
It's like
Now,
what, x64
one of them,
1998, x64
nope,
2020 or some shit like that.
Intel. So for those that don't know, Intel made 32-bit architecture with the i8 86 or i something 86, which is how it got the x86 back in like the 70s, and that is what ran the first IBM PCs.
Okay.
While down the line, this little company called AMD, quite literal at the time, literally a little company called AMD, released something called the Athlon 64. It was the first 64-bit consumer processor that could run 32-bit and was compatible with Intel's 32-bit x86. And so that's how we got x86 64. Intel technically gets paid a license fee for every CPU sold, because it's IA32 is theirs. They own it. That's their software. So Intel, they want to be shown up by this new upcomer AMD, releases a thing called Titanium. I'm mispronouncing that terribly, but they released something called IA64. They are terrible processors. They're awful, and it died. But we have two things that have been referred to as x86 or 64-bit. Again,
like
we are really good at naming things. We are so good at it.
Yeah.
Like
it can get really confusing.
Anyway, back to these VMs.
Yeah.
So instead of we're tricking a computer into thinking it's a computer, we're tricking a compiler into thinking that it's writing to bytecode, which is the ones and zeros at the end of the day.
Okay.
That's the simplest. And so the big one everybody's heard of is the JVM, which is the Java Virtual Machine. And even like every Blu-ray you own has a version of Java on it. Not the Blu-ray player, the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Every Blu-ray runs Java. Everything that Java, it was huge. It still is. I don't like old Java. I like new Java a lot better than old Java, personally. Again,
yeah, it seems like
are very, very opinionated.
Seems like knowing Java, like as a programmer, is kind of important.
So Java and JavaScript are two different things.
Okay.
Java was created at Sun Microsystems. Rest in peace, brother. Yeah, Sun got bought up by a company called Oracle. If you don't know who Oracle is, it's one rich asshole named Larry Ellis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm in finance. I know what Oracle is.
Yeah. They had one great product, then have bought up everything and just ran everything else into the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's created at Sun Microsystems, is designed to be a higher level. So you'll hear about low level coding. That's like your C's, your assemblies, your Rusts, your arguably your Go's, but not really. And then you have high level languages, and those are like your C++, your C sharps, your Javas, your Pythons, technically. But it's basically how far away from hardware are you?
Okay, I see.
Is how it looks. So they're trying to create something as a C++ replacement. You'll notice that a lot in programming languages, that they were trying to create a C and C++ replacement, and it turned out that C++ is still around. And C is still widely coded to this day. But they created something called the Java Virtual Machine. So they compiled Java code into this language code that doesn't look like bytecode, but then once it runs inside this Java Virtual Machine, it becomes bytecode. And that's why you can write once, run anywhere. If you've done actual software development, pretend you didn't hear that. It never works out that easily. So Microsoft used to do a thing called .NET Framework.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably have heard of .NET Framework, even if you haven't, because
Yeah.
you every time you install a game on Steam, you install the .NET Framework redistributable for VCC plus,
Right.
VC plus plus.
Yeah, I had
Which
to
stands for,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, which is Microsoft's version of C++. Again, coding's a nightmare sometimes, and we're really good at naming things.
Yeah, I just had to reinstall all those distributables. That was like a big problem on my computer.
Yeah. So
Yep.
about 9 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has killed .NET Framework. It still exists. You can still technically code in it. But the disadvantage to Framework is it could only run on Windows because it'll compile down to Windows.
Yeah.
Like machine code at the end of the day. There's ways you could run on it elsewhere, and if you know of that, just pretend you're not hearing me talk about this. So they created something called .NET Core. .NET Core is
Okay.
a rewriting of .NET to be open source, and that includes the C++ C# language. Technically Visual Basic. Don't code in Visual Basic, kids. If you're learning, just go learn C#. It's way easier. Godot uses it. Like, I do it every day, and let me tell you, I used to not like C#. I love C# now. It's great.
Nice.
You can do a lot of dumb things in it. It's like, just go look up the word reflection and just get back to me once you have grown out the beard and aged yourself 30 years, just going down that rabbit hole. But they rewrote it open source and can write once, run anywhere. Well, they don't have a VM. Well, they do, but it's called LLVM, and that's what C++ is written on top of. Mm-hmm. And this is how we find out, by the way, of like what CPU and graphics card is running the new Xbox and the new PlayStation so early on, and we get an idea of what it is because they have to submit code to LLVM saying this. If you see these ID tags in your byte, in the pre-byte code, this is what the CPU you're compiling to is. And like, we will not get into like language design because that again is another rabbit hole that you will dig yourself out of 30 years later with a full white beard, and you could code circles around people. It's really fun. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
But no,
yeah, that's on another episode right there, talking about if it's that crazy.
Literally, there's so much to software development. That's crazy.
Yeah, I could tell.
But Microsoft wrote this Roslyn. And
that sounds like someone's daughter.
Nope, that's the guy who wrote MySQL. Because his first name's Mai.
Oh, there you go. Rosalind. And then is that like when men used to be called Ashley?
I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know.
Back in the day.
I don't know. Well, fun fact. Again, MySQL was created at Sun Microsystems, and they got bought by Oracle. The entire MySQL team is basically gutted.
Yeah.
Because it's an open source project. Why do we got to pay people to maintain it?
Ugh.
Yeah, and then a few years later, the guy creates a little database called MariaDB. Kids, don't use MySQL. Use MariaDB. It's a drop-in replacement, which means you don't have to do jack shit to migrate to it.
Nice.
It's great. Highly recommend it. But and so now all these languages that, like, the only real language anymore that is locked down to an ecosystem that people are learning and writing production code in is Swift, which is how you write all your iPhone stuff. Android uses Kotlin, which runs on top of the Java virtual machine.
There are so many names. There's so many proper nouns.
Oh,
it's insane.
you'll hear everybody talk about this mythical D language. Somebody made a language called D. It's called D-Lang.
D-Lang?
Well, because when you create it in like 2000 something, the domain name D.com probably been taken.
Yeah, probably.
And you don't want to pay the annual fee for that.
People scooped up the single letter websites like day one of the internet.
Oh yeah. And so yeah. Oh man, eBay uses this. Man, I've been out of the game of T-Lang. Netflix uses it.
Netflix. What? Industry proven.
By the way, never trust these like used at.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit. Because I guarantee you the thing at Netflix that is using it was some guy wrote a program for it. They saw on like their analytics thing that somebody at Netflix was using D-Lang.
Yeah.
And then they just put it on there.
They're like, yeah, it's been used at Netflix.
Yeah. Or the guy who maintained it has been long laid off, and that project's been long shuttered, and they're just still using it. Oh, cool. There's a whole media article about
there's a
this.
page. Yeah, there's a page about it.
Ooh.
They're doing. Yeah. They be doing also, stuff at the Netflix.
Yeah, for people who also like, man, I don't want to learn coding, but I want to learn a lot about like how software development stuff works. Medium articles, great. Fantastic spots to go learn about some of the stuff. Wikipedia is also your friend.
Yeah, I use it a lot for like just podcasting and like researching. So yeah, it does work for a lot of things.
Whenever I'm learning a new language, I start at Wikipedia.
Nice. Cool.
Because they have the examples.
Yeah.
And more detailed examples usually. Versus currently, like, say you want to go learn Rust. Learn Rust, don't learn async Rust, because your life will end before you figure it out. And you just go on rust.com. Not
rust-lang.org.
Yeah. Rust, by the way, is what Discord uses.
Oh, nice.
Everything. Yeah. So the hellscape that is JavaScript frameworks. Rust, Discord used to use Go in their server base, and Go is one of those C replacements. Rust is also one of the C replacements. You'll hear pitched around a bunch. The issue with Go is it has a garbage collector. And garbage collector basically means in low-level languages, you got to manage your memory yourself. And you'll hear a lot of times in gaming talk about memory leak. 99% of the time, if you hear it on Twitter, they're wrong. They don't know what a memory leak is. Or what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's way more nightmarish than what is made out to be, by the way. Like, you can have small ones and be fine. Large ones, very quickly. But that's why C and C++, C gives you a gun to shoot your foot off. C++ gives you a shotgun to shoot your leg off. And so they're trying to give you basically paintball guns now to shoot you in your foot with. And Go uses garbage collecting as their answer to that.
Nice.
Which will go clean up things you're not using anymore, and you don't have to care about it. Rust uses a different thing called a borrow check system. Think about it like a lending library.
Okay.
Or a library. You check something out, it's borrowed, and it all needs to get checked back in at the end of the day. And
nice.
It's great. And you just go, but Rust has a book on all of it. It's some of the best tutorials out there, like on how to get through and learn a language. I do not, if you're just starting out though, don't recommend Rust. I still recommend C#. I know Microsoft has their issues right now. There's a reason for some of this stuff, but the Microsoft does provide a large majority to the .NET Foundation now, but .NET is open source and maintained by hundreds of developers around the world.
Nice.
It is not a fully owned Microsoft product anymore.
Yeah.
They own like 75% of it. Don't get me wrong. They own a majority, but they're not the sole people making it at the end of the day.
Yeah. So does that make it better or worse than before?
Better. Open source is always better at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like that way, you know. It seems better to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because say I write, like, great example. I was playing through Final Fantasy 13 too. There's these annoying ass clock puzzles that if you've ever seen them, you know exactly what hell you're in for and what I'm talking about. There used to be a site somebody wrote 13 years ago that was a solver for these.
Nice.
You want to guess if that site's still up?
No, probably not.
Oh yeah, most definitely not. So I spent 2 hours yesterday writing a solver for that. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure 1/10 of my playtime was just spent on these clock puzzles. And I finally got frustrated enough to just go write it. It's up on my GitHub. Like, seriously, go look at my GitHub.
Yeah, sure.
If you need, say, and I banged that out in 2 hours.
What's your GitHub?
Borzen. Same thing.
All right.
It's so easy to find me places.
Good. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, I have projects out there. There's my game engine I wrote in college that's terrible and should never be used by real people. Like, there's college projects on there. There's, I'm pretty sure that, hey, I'll shout this out. If you are a language developer, hit me up, because I was writing a new CMS system and realized, I need to make a fully custom markdown. If you have any experience doing that and want to just do it on the weekend, hit me up. I'll gladly start that project again. I will do that. Like, it only makes code better because, like I said, somebody could go out there and go, oh, you did this the wrong way. I'm just going to, like, put in a pull request. Like, there's so much.
Yeah, a lot of stuff on here. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
FF13 clock puzzle solution.
Hey,
fuck yeah.
It's almost like I chose that repository name to make it SEO optimized somehow. And I wrote this huge description to make it SEO optimized somehow. So hopefully nobody else gets cursed with this. I'm also apologize to everybody. I did not web host this. I didn't want to pay for the hosting. I'm sorry.
Hey. Oh well.
It's
as long as we can run it.
You literally, it's all there. You just run it. If you can figure out a hello world solution, you can run that. Like,
awesome.
Literally, if you can figure out C# hello world, you can run that. Might not be able to edit code or understand it all, but you can run it at the end of the day.
Nice.
But awesome. Like, open source is always better. There's never the only downside to open source is major corporations, because they do not pay or give back. Apple, all their operating systems are based off of open source technology. Their file system is based off of ZFS, which is the coolest file system in the world. I'm going to be totally biased about that. I love ZFS. Stands for Zettabyte File System. Red Hat Sun Microsystems. You might see a theme here. Yeah. And they and it literally is so cool, and that's what Apple based it on. And ZFS is still maintained today. I run it on my home NAS. It maintains probably zettabytes of storage around the world.
Damn.
Like, I know an entire backup company. That's all they use in their cloud infrastructure, down to the devices themselves, backup devices themselves. It's all ZFS.
And so Apple just took all open source stuff and just been charging up the ass for their bullshit.
Yeah. And they credit it, but then nothing's coming back. There's a very famous XKCD comic out there where it's literally this thing with like one tiny thing it's holding up the internet. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
I've
seen that one.
Yeah. There's multiple things out there that we have had to like. There's this guy who got mad that he literally was living in Russia in poverty, maintaining the software because he believed so freely in it, and Google was using it.
Yeah.
And they're not, and so that's the problem is if you can give back, like OBS is on Patreon.
Yeah. Right.
You have like a ton of these pages will have coffee links in it. Like GitHub pages will have coffee links.
Yeah. Right.
If you are using this on like a semi-regular basis,
yeah, throw in some cash.
$5 helps.
Yeah.
Because literally majority of these people are not living in America, so they're not getting these huge huge salaries.
Right.
A. B, people are doing this for the love of the game at the end of the day. These people would do this like even if they're stupidly sick, and they do it for the love of the game. It's never about the money for them. But as I've discussed, everything in software eventually comes back down to money because hosting all this stuff costs money, especially if it's a large service or
widely used service by everyone. You know, they gotta pay for their website and everything. You know,
or say a 0-day vulnerability is discovered.
Right.
That dev has to fix it. And they don't have the knowledge. They have to then hire somebody to fix it.
Yeah, now they're going in the hole and everyone's using their software for free because it's open source, right?
Yeah. So, if you can, give back, either with your time, with your money, or your energy. It is... But there's no disadvantage to having something open source.
Yeah, but I'm never buying a license for WinRAR. Just putting that out there.
Oh, the WinRAR guys are true bros. I use 7-Zip instead because it's free and it's FOSS at the end of the day. Like, you don't need to buy Microsoft Windows or use Google Drive.
Right.
There's OpenOffice, there's LibreOffice that can do both. I graduated high school using only OpenOffice. My entire family did. We did not buy a single Windows Office license since 2000. The only reason my parents use Office now is because they get it through work through Microsoft 365.
Yeah, right. And that's just...
the only reason I use Drive is because I run 3 different computers that I need access to some of these documents on.
Right.
Yeah, I write a lot on my iPad. So, I need the features of that. But you don't have, if you want to not support Google, who took do no evil out of their whole philosophy of business.
Yeah, well, but we use Drive because I got a team and we're all remote essentially. So it's like, it's like something I have to do. You know, it's like also like why you buy shit on Amazon or go to Walmart.
Yeah.
It's like,
I buy shit on Amazon every day.
I just have to, okay? I need the cheap shit. You're talking about music production earlier. It's like, dude, there's no more music stores. There's no more fucking Radio Shacks. Like, if you need an adapter from like 1/4 inch to like phono, like Amazon, bro, just it's $2, you know?
Hey, you need a TRS to XLR adapter?
Yeah, exactly.
Guitar Center's not selling that shit.
I had to get the TRS to, you know, the quarter inch, just because I was like, what is this? I didn't even know what that looked like. I had to learn about that. Because I got a new DJ speaker.
Yeah, I've been building a synth pedal board and has been learning a lot about balanced audio and how to route that. And like Center doesn't even sell this shit. So like, you gotta order. So at the end of the day,
you got to.
I'm getting. But
support
heads up.
Support people doing independent things, even if they make it free. You know, we all see that. Like, even for Wikipedia, sometimes they're like, "Hey guys, you all get your information here. It'd be nice if you sent me $3." And everybody says, "Nah, fuck you." You know, and it's like, really, like, but you'll sub to some guy on Twitch. I'm like, come on, buy this developer a coffee. Come on.
Wikipedia could look like fandom, y'all. Like any fandom wiki site, because fandom runs MediaWiki, which is made by Wikipedia.
They do it's a hellscape of ads, but you know, sometimes you gotta go to those.
I don't know if you'll had to go, like, quite literally. I play Warframe a bit. I'm so glad the Warframe wiki is self-hosted now and no longer on fandom. Because navigating that site on mobile was a nightmare.
Yeah, it is a nightmare. Yeah.
Like, fun fact, if you're looking up stuff on fandom and you are like, why is there no plot summary on this? It's because it's in a hidden page that they don't show you on mobile. You have to go directly to the plot page from a search result.
Lame.
This isn't frustrating.
Yeah.
This isn't me venting about
You know, so, I mean, okay. Let's reel it in a little bit. All right. So, like, you know, we've talked about a lot of concepts, some heady software development. Like, you can use software development in your personal life for fun. You could do it to solve your own problems. You've given people a good places to start if they're interested in learning this type of stuff. You added a lot of context to, like, the way things work on clouds and servers and everything like that. I mean, we've learned a lot here, and it's been very illuminating. If you were to encapsulate, like, the concepts or, like, the message that you're trying to put out there in essentially a conclusion paragraph, how would you go about that right now?
Software development is about continuously learning. You evolve or you die in this industry. Period. Learn. Just go learn something new. I don't care if it's software development. Just go learn how things work. Like,
that's this podcast.
More about the world.
That's me making this podcast right here. That's essentially what I'm trying to do.
Like, knowing about how software development works is going to actually also help you so much. It is literally going to help you understand why things happen in the world, because so much of our world is dedicated on software. Example, you hear about the FAA talking about how they run on floppies and Windows 95.
Yes.
Still?
Yeah, I watched that.
They need to update that.
I was watching the episode of Last Week Tonight where they were talking about it.
There's a reason. It's because nobody saw the investment into spending the time, energy, and money to update this. Learning, being an advocate to your IT team at work. Learning how to be that's literally what it is even knowing a little bit more about software development will help you out. And, like, as an IT guy, I've been working in IT since I was 16. I've been working help desks or maintaining servers since I was 16. You become so much friendlier with the IT people if A, you don't come off like a know-it-all. B, you can talk shop. If you can talk shop with an IT guy, the IT guy will love you. Because they have nobody else at work to talk shop to at usually.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, just learn. Just learning about how the world works around you is such a huge part. I have to learn so much about, like, I used to work at a payment software company. I could tell you how MasterCard runs their entire payment network.
Yeah.
And how
That's
you
nuts.
have to balance credit cards and all this stuff. because I had to learn it. It just constantly keep learning.
Yeah.
And learn how the world works. That's what software development is at the end of the day.
Nice. The insatiable search for knowledge and skills.
Yeah. And
awesome.
And I'm not joking. There are rabbit holes that I didn't even cover today.
Yeah.
That, like...
Oh, I'm sure we could have sat here
AI.
for 10 hours. Oops. That's the wrong button.
Yeah. AI. Great example. AI.
Yeah.
And its whole overtake of the creative industry.
Yeah.
It's... As said, software development's creative. It's coming for us, too.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Like...
It's coming for my job, too. You know it.
Yeah, like learning how it basically works. Alberta Tech, you've heard me, I shouted her out earlier.
Yeah.
She has a lot of great videos on like how AI works, because she works on large language models and works for the companies dealing with that stuff. I'm just saying, keep learning. If you want to learn more about large language models and AI, Alberta Tech. She's great.
Okay.
I want to keep learning.
Is that
web devs?
Like a YouTuber or?
Yeah, she's on YouTube. She works on stuff like that. She talks a lot about it from like as a developer perspective.
Yeah.
She does a lot of comedy stuff, like shorts. I'm sorry now, your feed is just going to be a lot of software dev stuff now.
No, there's no ruining my feed. It's just I just like weird shit.
Prime Gen, how you say his name? I don't constantly watch him, but he has some good stuff out there. Like I said, if you want to even more focus, literally hit me up on Blue Sky. Hit me up. I will gladly help you get a knowledge and understanding of which path you want to go down. Because literally, if you come hit me up and say, hey, I want to learn game dev, I'm going to probably tell you, go learn Godot script.
Yeah.
And start there. And go learn Godot. Like, or if you're like, hey, I want to learn about shaders in video games. I can send you down different paths. Okay, I literally have a library full of stuff if people want to hit up. But like I said, just keep learning.
Well, this is a perfect time to ask you, Borzen, where the hell can people find you on the internet if they do want to reach out to you?
I'm mostly only on Blue Sky anymore. Okay. Borzen. Very hard. Again, very hard to find me anywhere. I look way more homeless in that picture.
Nice.
It's all due to, it's only peak of COVID and my hair was like down to here.
Awesome.
And then I'm on Discord. If you're in a server I'm in, hit me up. Or if you know somebody who knows me, like I'm in this server now. So seriously, hit me up. I will gladly always point you towards directions for answers. Even if I don't know it, you can, I will attempt to just go, hey, this is what I found. Hope this helps. Because honestly, 90% of my job is Googling stuff.
Yeah, nice.
If Stack Overflow dies, all software development dies.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that too. Awesome, Borzen. Thank you so much for joining me for this talk about software development. This has been, like I said, very illuminating, very interesting. A lot of, back end things people don't think about. You put on blast today. I think maybe in the future we should link up and do another one of these. You can get deeper into one of these topics. Maybe AI, because I don't know how much. That's we should just only talk about AI. Was
promise to me, and why I thought AI was gonna be awesome. And what has yet to be delivered.
Okay. Well, that's just a little tease for when I have Borzen back to have another conversation where we get all into AI. But yeah, man, is there any other things you want to say, or anything in the future you're looking forward to when it comes to software development?
I hope for the day Russ gets better video graphic support, where I can start making games, a game engine in Rust again, and start learning my graphics pipelines again.
Nice.
But that's forever away. Like,
yeah.
Rust is still pretty new. It's only 10 years old, I think.
Yeah.
That. But yeah, like,
it's a young one.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to, this is going to sound really weird and really dirty, but I'm really looking forward to .NET 10 because C# is getting a lot of cool new language features that are going to be fun to use.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then the day Node.js dies, that I think every software developer who has to deal with Node.js on a semi-daily basis is ready for that day to happen.
All right. Well,
and the day COBOL dies, but that's never happening because banks need it. IBM still supports COBOL on all their mainframes.
There you go. Yep. And much like the TAA, much like the TSA, no,
the FAA.
FAA. There you go. Much like the FAA. They are not going to spend the money to change equipment or operating systems. So I think you're set. I was still using like green screen in a casino accounting. Only like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something
probably
like that.
Talking to an old IBM
CS 400 and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Rough.
Hey,
to this day, it's being used in casinos. Oh. So. Yeah.
Don't look at what your bank uses. That will also terrify you.
Don't look at what the computer is connected to our fucking nukes, buddy. That's scary too.
Oh yeah.
That's real scary. That's another topic.
Yeah, no, because I can talk. Because I went to a school that had a nuclear engineering program, and they would come up to me with software development questions.
Yeah.
And if you don't have clearance, they can't show you anything.
Wow.
So you get asked the most insane questions and hypotheticals about software development.
And we're like, well,
you have to
could work like that.
Yeah. If a cat crosses the street at 5 a.m. and a man picks up the eggs, how do I print this output to a screen?
You said you don't like word problems. We're not doing that. We're not doing those type of puzzles, Borzen. You need numbers. No. We need numbers. I remember this.
Yeah, because I would look back at it and go, what the hell are you talking about?
Like, this creeped me out. All right, Borzen, I'm going to cut you loose here, buddy. It's been a great conversation. I hope you found value in this, too. Remember, you can find Borzen at Borzen everywhere. Blue Sky, Discord. Wherever you see the word Borzen, Borzen, that's the guy. Just like OMGesus, this guy right here from Neon Pocket Dimension. That's where you're watching this video right now. Check out our other videos on there. Check out our gaming stuff at youtube.com/@neon gaming dimension. We came off of Steam Next Fest a couple weeks ago, so you can watch me play demos there, and we're going to talk about more games and shit like that in the future. We just did like a rematch stream. I suck at that. And then Odd Valley Studios this Friday. Today, you're watching this on YouTube. Tonight, join us at twitch.tv/OMGesus to watch a new episode of Odd Valley Tavern where we're going to get drunk and talk about 90s stuff. So it should be a good time. And that's at 7 p.m. Pacific. Again, thank you, Borzen, for being here. This is a great conversation. I really appreciate it. You really stepped it up and nerded out today, and I appreciate that.
I could talk shop all day long.
Well, we'll do it again, because I feel like I only have 1% of what's in your brain, and I need more.
Oh, yeah, like I said, there's rabbit holes.
All right, say your bit to lead us out. Give us your best quote or as a software developer, like a fun adage to lead us out.
God, who's the fucking dumbass that wrote this shit? Oh, wait, that's me.
All right, see you later, guys.